Hello, Year 5 and 6. Welcome to Friday's tutorial. We are looking today at writing a diary entry from the perspective of a character in the book. Again, crossover with our writing tasks here a little bit, but really good way of checking that you've got a thorough and comprehensive understanding of the type of character in your book. That will show how carefully you have read that particular text as to whether or not you know that character well. Much like we've done in the past, what I'm going to ask you to do is, as I show you these pages, rather than this video going on for quite a long time, I'm going to keep it nice and short. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pause the screen on each page of chapter 5 and read through it. There's not many pages, so each time you put one up, pause the video, read that page for me, please, restart the video, next page will come up, do the same, pause it, read the page, start again, pause it, read the page. You get the idea until you've read all of those pages. So if you can do that now, that would be wonderful. And then I'll speak to you again once you've read chapter 5. Okay, fantastic. That is all of chapter 5. That is where the chapter finishes up. So if we are writing a diary entry from the perspective of a character, the obvious first thing you need to do is decide which character. So from this chapter, I've got 3 characters to choose from. I've got Daniel, I've got the girl, whose name we don't yet know, and I've got the man, whose name we don't yet know. We know he is the man in charge of the Emporium, but we don't yet have his name. I'm going to avoid going with the really obvious and going with Daniel. He's the character we know best, but that means there's not as much mystery around him. I mean, there is a lot of mystery still around him, but I want to try and force myself to think about a newer character, one that we don't know anything much about at all yet, one that is completely mysterious to us. So I'm actually going to choose the girl in this instance. Once you've chosen whichever character you're going to choose, you then need to write down everything that you already know about this character. So in the case of this girl, I've only really met her in this chapter, so I don't know a great deal about her so far. But the things that I do know, I know she's very sarcastic. I can tell that from the dialogue and the interaction she has with Daniel. She seems, this isn't necessarily what I know, but she seems to live in the Nowhere Emporium. I could be wrong on that, but she seems to. From what she says and a couple of the things she talks about with Daniel, she seems to live in the Nowhere Emporium. It seems like, or at least he claims, the man who owns the shop, he acts like he doesn't know who she is. He says something about that can't be right, there's nobody else here, that sort of thing. But, and it's on this screen still, girl, the man said, don't bother yourself with her, you have more important things to think about at the moment. So he doesn't seem to think she's very important. He dismisses her. I know that she was jealous of Daniel's, that should say room. It says ROM, not read this carefully enough. Very, very bad checking there, Mr. Hull. She was jealous of Daniel's room, and she says that it's far nicer than hers. So that suggests that she's living in the Emporium. She also said a very odd thing. She said that no one real ever shows up there. We've no idea what that means yet, that idea of it. So that suggests that people who aren't real do turn up there. Anyway, she says that, so that's an interesting thing we know about her. And she also then, she leaves to go and find out what's actually happening with Daniel. So once you've done that first sort of step on this task, once you've written down all the things you know about whichever character you're choosing from your book, you can then start writing your diary entry. But before we do that, it is worth reminding ourselves of what the key features of a diary are. So there's the obvious things. It opens with Dear Diary. You know that. You absolutely know that by now. You also know that it's written in first person because you are the character. For this, it's not you writing. You're writing as your character. So if I was doing this as Daniel, I am Daniel as I write. I'm not Mr. Hall anymore. In the instance of writing from the perspective of this girl, I am this girl. I'm not Mr. Hall anymore. So it's first person, I, me, my. It's also past tense. The whole point of a diary is you write it about the events that have already gone by. So you need to remember that. Use of colloquialisms, I very nearly didn't put in brackets after it, informal language. I was going to see if my English group could remember what colloquial language meant. But I realised you're not all in my English group, so some of you may not have heard that term. Colloquialisms just means that informal, chatty tone. This is your diary. It doesn't need to be formal. The whole point is only you read it. So keep that language informal. Keep it colloquial. You also should be talking about your thoughts and feelings in your diary. And one thing I put in, this is only from past experience of some of your diaries when you've not done them for a while. Diaries do not contain speech. So I don't want to be seeing speech marks in there. I don't want to be seeing any direct speech, any inverted commas. I want to be seeing it purely written as first person, past tense, explaining what happened that day. Steer clear of speech. Okay, all that said, let me show you a model, one that I did yesterday. This is not finished. I would be carrying this on and explaining much more, but I don't want to give you loads and loads to read. So we've got, dear diary, properly mental day today. Colloquial language straight away. Properly mental, showing that informal tone. Properly mental day today. I don't even know where to begin with it all. Straight away with their feelings and emotions. Turns out that this boy, I think he said his name was Daniel, has turned up and managed to get into the Emporium. I recognise him somehow. He looks just like the boy who had come in the other day. But that can't be right. No one ever comes back. Anyway, whoever he is, you should see his bedroom. It's way nicer than mine. We've got that exclamation mark to show informality. We've got that extended, way bigger, all in capitals. Again, informal language. It's way nicer than mine, which is totally unfair. Colloquial language again, as well as emotions and feelings and opinions as well. I want to be getting lots of opinions in there. He's got this awesome view out across the fields. He's even got this babbling brook running just outside. Exact language from the book as well. Babbling is the word that he used to describe the stream that was outside. Like, what's with that? He just turns up out of the blue and gets an awesome bedroom. I am not happy. You get the idea. You want to be able to sound like it's that character speaking in this diary. It's their thoughts, their stream of consciousness that you want to be putting across. That's why you need to use that informal tone. Right then, I'm going to leave that to you. As always, please send those in to me so I can see them. I can send you some feedback and we can feature them on the Friday feedback show, which will be coming out today, by the way. So after you've done this work, get it over to me as quickly as possible. I can get it put on the video before I put that video up later today. Lovely speaking to you all. Can't wait to see more of your fantastic work. I miss you all so much and I can't wait to be back in school with you. But for now, goodbye.